This is a crash course in RGB curves. If I represent all of the pixels in a digital image as having a value of 0 to 255, because there's 256 levels of value that a pixel can be turned to. 0 means black, they're all turned off, and 255 means it's white because they're all cranked up. If I add a second axis here so that I can compare my input and my output, that means this was the original image that I'm photo manipulating or video that I'm editing in Premiere, and this is the output, meaning this is what it generates after I mess with it, right? So if the line is straight, it means what you see is what you get, right? Say value 128 in the middle of the scale, if I go up and find it here, matches 128 over here, right? That's why it's a straight line, because every input matches the output. This is what I started with, but then I tweaked it so it goes up like this. Now it means if my input was 128, I've actually increased its value to up here. Let's just call that, I don't know, like 230. But every input now has a different output, and it's adjusting the value or the lightness or darkness of every pixel from what it was, which is down here, to a new value, which is up here. Why do we want a gentle curving slope? If I were to try to just increase the lightness of the whole image by like moving this up, it's going to get clipped at the top, and everything on this side of my image of a lighter tone is going to get blown out to white, and I'm going to lose all this detail, all this information. So it makes way more sense to adjust tone with gentle curves. Okay, but also digital images are made up of red, green, and blue subpixels. So let's now add a line for each of those. Right now it's what you see is what you get. I'm actually going to add a little color wheel down here just to have kind of a basic reference for what's going to happen. But let's say I leave my blue and my green pixels where they are, but I adjust just my red curve. My original image had a pixel that was like, let's say, a dull orange color, and that would have a value around the middle of the scale. But now the red has been increased, but the blue and green have not. So the red value is now up to 225. What does that mean? It means that if that pixel was like an orangey brownish color, I've actually shifted it toward red because I increased the amount of red. What if I had a purple color that was pretty dark? It had some blue information and some red information. I've blown up the red, so if it was a purple color down here, I've shifted it toward red. Let's say you want a more complex curve, something like this. What's that going to do to your image? Well, everything around the middle isn't going to change that much, so everything of like a middle value between light and dark will stay about the same color. But lighter colors will now shift toward red, and darker colors will shift away from red, like this or like this. Dark oranges will get greener, dark purples will get bluer.